Hello again to the 3D section of my channel. This time I made a garment. I don't call it a dress because dresses would probably come alive and kill me if they could. There's a lot of stunningly dresses out there that and what I did isn't really a dress in the end. It's clothing. It covers mm, parts of the body. I won't even say most because that would be just a plain lie. You can maybe see that I already tweaked my base model. There's some blue areas around the breasts and around the genital area because I marked the um, spots where the corresponding genitalia are visible, so I know which parts to really cover up. Um, I used mostly the I use the symmetry tool constantly because when I work on the whole body, the model has a clean mirror on each side. There's no different sized boobs. There's no one arm longer than the other, so you can basically mirror everything you do. Right at the beginning, you see me starting with the top piece. I ran into some trouble right there where I'm right now. I pulled the fabric around the around the neck and the collar, and then pulled it right. I wanted to make sure I got the angle right in which it descends to the breasts. So I pulled the I extruded the material right down, and then I had no idea how to rotate the edge I was working with to align it with the body. So I was there were a few minutes of thinking, okay, well, what am I doing now? Where do I have to turn it? What's going on here? Um, in the end, mostly used the extrude tool to extend the fabric or the material, and a lot of tessellation. So I added additional points, as you can see right now, to align in the end, the material with the body. Um, the tessellate tool is one of the main tools I use together with the extension tool with the extrude tool. Um, you will see that I also use a lot of symmetry tools, especially when I'm doing something for the whole body. If I use if I make something for one limb, like a glove for the arm, a hand, um, some jewelry for some place, I don't use it. But as soon as I'm working on the torso or on the legs as a whole, like pants or like skirts, I usually use the symmetry tool most of the time, and just do the finishing touches without the symmetry tool. Um, right now I have it off because I wanted to elevate one of the crossings or the crossing, so the fabric doesn't touch in itself, but it's rather on top of itself. And then I forgot to activate the tool again for some time, which I luckily noticed fast enough, because just now I was thinking, okay, wait, I'm just moving one side, why am I not moving the second side? What's happening here? I deleted a part of what I did again there, checked the tool again, and luckily I didn't alter enough, so he still saw a corresponding mirrored edge he could, or the program, the app could use, and got to work further. I had projects where I had to basically start from scratch, because I switched the tool off somewhere in the middle and had no idea how to go from here without doing everything 2 times and writing down, I don't know, maybe thousands of coordinates or hundreds of coordinates at least, to match it. So this time I was lucky that I saw it early enough. As you can see right now, I'm jumping between different parts in the whole. It took me about 90 minutes to make, 1.5 hours, a little bit more than that actually. And I was jumping between different parts of the process. Right now I had installed the first folds on the fabric because yeah, the aligning the fabric with the body is just it's boring. It's repetitive. Nevertheless, it's important. It needs to be done. But I was just jumping to another part where I could just move a little bit here, move a little bit there, have something to chill, get rest for a second before I move in again. You will see this happening 1 or 2 times as well in the future of the video, because I was just okay. Okay, I'm not doing this now. I'm doing this in a few minutes. So yeah, I can procrastinate on a project with a project. I don't know if this is a unique thing or if other people. I'm pretty sure other people do too. Yeah, the whole piece consists of let me lie, 4 parts. I think the top, the pants, a part in the back, and the knot I did, or I faked. It's not a knot, it's a fake. But it doesn't matter because it's in the back, so you will likely never see it. I say likely because I have no idea what the future brings, and who knows what else will happen. Okay, I was finished with the top part there. You see I didn't smooth it out yet. I did the smoothing just at the end when I was happy with how everything sat so far. Yeah. The legs were interesting to make. I could make a lot of interesting new. I could work on interesting new ideas. Yeah, I used the weld tool right there to weld the points into each other. Probably didn't have to use it at the second I did. At the time I did, was just thinking, okay, maybe it looks better this way, or maybe it's easier this way. I probably wouldn't have needed to do it. Also another thing, usually when I work at the leg area, I cut one leg. So I remove one leg from the model so I can see better what I'm doing. And since it is mirrored, the second leg automatically fits to the figure in the end. I didn't do it here because I was lazy and was just like, it'll work out. It's not, there's not so much to do in the middle between the legs. So yeah, it basically was just laziness to not do it. What I'm doing right now is something you will see rather often. I usually just click and drag the points where I want them. Right now I'm using the perspective view. The easiest way to make sure your points are where you want them is to use 2 panels, the front and the side, and one of the side panels, preferably the one where you can see what you're doing. Not like I am working right here, where I just use one panel and never change it because yeah, lazy again. You take either panel, and move the point you want to move in 2 dimensions, and then you'd switch to the other layer and move the point in the third missing dimension to make sure it is where it's going. That is the easiest way. You can, of course, move it in the perspective view as I do right now, but it's not the cleverest way to go on about it. Anyhow, what you also might see is that the manipulation tool is aligned with the world. The axes are straight up, straight to the side, and straight back. There's 2 options here. You can set it to the world, so you can basically, so it will always align with the world axis, right up, right left, or right and right front or back, and you can align it with the internal point from the model, which can help you move a point inward or help you move a point toward the center of the tool, but otherwise, in my personal opinion, in my personal use, is pretty much useless. Yeah, again, you see me tessellate and then cut a few pieces loose. I was again inspired by Persian looks, I don't know, by these belly dancing, open, wavy forms, so I chose to work with those. I usually use Pinterest as a means of inspiration. I have few boards where I just store ideas where I think, okay, this is neat, this I can maybe make in 3D at some point. It's a great source of inspiration, and for this I used 2 or 3 pictures where I was like, okay, this looks cool, this looks sexy, this looks funny, I want to do this. Regarding the sexy part, I absolutely know this is not wearable in our real life world. In 3D I do a lot of women clothing, I do a lot of semi-erotic or stuff like this. It usually caters to the male gaze. I am well aware of that. It usually depicts women scantily clad. I'm well aware of that too. And you know what? I'm still gonna roll with it. I enjoy doing clothing like this. It is fun. I don't want to go too much in politics, philosophy, and details right here, right now, but the gist of it is I am absolutely sad, mortified that we live in a world where women have to think about what they're wearing because they have to fear men. This is just horrible and wrong. It just devastates me to know we live in a world like this. I would rather live in a world where women can say, okay, I want to wear this because I think it's cute, it's sexy, I want to show off my body or not. Women don't have to. Women don't need to. I don't see no reason to make them unless they want to. And if they want to, they absolutely should be able to without fear. Okay, read over. I made my excursus. If you're interested, leave me a note in the comments. I would be glad to make a philosophical playlist, a philosophical chapter in the channel to discuss these topics with people. Absolutely. Anyhow, yeah, this clothing is that's why I'm not gonna call it a dress, because dresses and gowns will come up and just straight out murder me for it. Yeah, as you can see, I use a lot of tessellation, especially when you're going around the waist. You can see at the model how detailed the original female model is. I use from Death 3D. It's Gen 2. It's a Gen 2 base model. If you use Death 3D, you always have to use the base model, because if you morph it, the clothing you implement will morph with it. I will make a video about implementing, or how I import and implement clothing and how it will morph with the figure. So you have an idea of what's happening. Yeah, but if you work like me, if you work on with the base model as a centerpiece and build the clothing around it, I recommend. Yeah, you have to use the base model, and this is the Genesis 2 female base model. I imported it from Death 3D long ago to have something to work with. Right now I'm working on the knot. As you can see, it's fake. I used the bubble I had in front. I had it in front, so I had, when I did the bottom, I had an idea where the end point would be moving to, so the angle would be right. I then just got the idea to move it to the back, use it as a knot. I manipulated it a little bit, so it would look not like a ball, but yeah, a little bit frickled. Is frickled even good? I don't know. I don't care. Yeah, now I'm smoothing it up. As you can see, when you smooth it, I use the you have 6 or 7 layer or iterations. I use the second one usually. I rarely go to the third. The fourth have crashed my old computer, so I'm kind of terrified of it. I don't think this computer would be crashing, but still 3 is way enough. Yeah. Did the folds and the fabric torsion there, moving the parts around where the clothing would clip through the body. Yeah, right now I'm just moving, giving it a little space. Yeah, of course the clothing would sit just directly on the skin, but if I don't want to go into as much detail as the original model, which is frankly just insane to do, I think, or for me as a hobbyist, I have to be a little bit lenient, and the clothing have a little bit distance to the actual body. Yeah. Next, coming up with the edges. You just mark one, press L, so he marks the whole edge he can see. Control Z for copying, Control V for implementing, and then you can use the thicken tool to just give it the right thickness. In this case, 0.01. It's visible in the render, but it's not intrusive. It's not just thick and there and dominating. I mainly started using edges because I was doing opaque or laced stuff, and if I don't want it to just end right there in nothing, I had to start using edges. Also, it gives the illusion of thickness on the clothing. I started with the first texture map there. For some parts where I know I'm going monochrome, I'm using one colored, I just use a base texture where I know, okay, everything will be colored the same color with no exceptions, with no problems, like the edges and the connection foot part there. With the bigger parts like the top and the bottom, or the top and the pants, I used there's a special tool. If you're interested in how to use it, I will show you in normal speed with explanation while I'm doing it, so I can make a tutorial if you want me to. Right now I'm just adding a few seams, using the unfold option to plane it out and have a working plane right there. As you will see in a few seconds, I just painted it basically black and the edges yellow, and I'm happy with the result nevertheless. Yeah, finishing touches. You have to give everything a texture. The program doesn't use it on itself. Here is the finished object, and here is the picture. Enjoy, and see you around for the next video.